Hi, welcome to the Liverpool Community Podcast. I'm your host, Chase Johnston-Lynch. And, we've been having really good guests on in the past couple of weeks and everything. And I'm always fascinated by who's out there within our community doing something very positive that I think that you should know about. And, usually I usually say that I know about and you should know about, but hey, whatever. Today's guest is really very interesting to me because not only because of her age, but what her passion is leading her to do at the present moment. And today I'm joined by Rachael Fell of the Be Free campaign. How you doing, Rachel?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
All right, don't be nervous, Rachel, because I can tell you're nervous the way you just said that. But basically, Rachel is involved with the mental health charity called Be Free campaign, which we're going to find out about. But first of all, I know a lot of people never like to talk about that age, but how old are you, Rachel?
I'm 21.
Now, reason why I asked that is because basically this project is set up by young people for young people, isn't it?
Yeah.
And everything. And you're one of the main, well, you're the operations manager, but we can't forego not talking about the young man who set the project up.
Yeah.
Now, I can say his name because I hate it when people get names wrong. So let's see if I get it right. Shantanu
Yeah.
and everything, who was a medical student, who's still a medical student now, but he started this project as a blog. That's what I thought was interesting in 2017. So tell us about his passion in starting up Be Free.
Yeah. So basically, when he was in school, he was experiencing some mental health problems and decided that there wasn't enough support out there and there was no one really talking about that. So having that blog was kind of a really good outlet to talk about mental health, and it's just amazing to think that it's grown to a registered charity as it is today. I mean, we became registered in just 2019, so we're really growing quite fast. And obviously, the stuff that we'll be talking about today, that we've just done so much in that time.
I mean, basically, as a medical student, he wasn't like a psychology student or anything like that, was he?
No, so his interest in mental health has purely come from his own experience,
Right.
and being working in the NHS, it's massive. It takes its toll on everyone who is a part of it, and even the patients. They can tell what's going on. The kind of the crisis that we're in at the minute, and the fact that he's out there and he's seeing that and channeling that into the Be Free campaign is just really what makes us quite special, to be honest.
Now, the thing about it is the fact that what's great in the present day is that, mental health, it's been given like a lot of names and terminologies over the years, but it's kind of like come from kind of like a dirty word. If like you say, oh man, you got mental health issues and everything else like that. But what do you think about that of recent late, like creating the names of autistic spectrum and neurodiversity? I mean, what do you think about this whole name thing going on?
I think giving names and diagnoses kind of gives people a better chance to kind of grapple with like the issues that they're facing. We found that more in recent years that mental health is spoken about a lot more openly. For example, myself and Shantanu, we were of the age where it was started to be spoken about in schools, where they were kind of starting to realise that there was something that needed to be spoken about. But we found that it was like done in quite a patronising way, very much like it's okay to not to be okay, go outside, look at the trees, both valid pieces of advice, but what do they actually mean? If you are a child who is struggling with something that they have no idea how to cope with, being told something like that just isn't useful. And I think that's what really drives us in our approach to actually how we do our work. I think just to take that patronising sense out of it, I think.
Well, I think you're lucky if you face patronizing because I used to be a teacher, in schools, and my feeling of teachers is they were so overwhelmed, they didn't have the time to be patronizing.
Yeah.
They were more rude sometimes,
Yeah.
because they didn't have an understanding of mental health.
Yeah.
So let's just say, there's that ornery kid in the back, he's fidgeting. Hello, Mr. Fidget. Stop fidgeting, and then not realizing that there might be something more going on for him
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But to consider it, what about your experience? Did you feel that teachers didn't take the time. And I know this is not an attack on teachers, but it's supposed to be like about how people can actually deal better with it. I mean, did you ever experience any of that kind of stuff?
Definitely. So, I mean, first of all, with teachers, they may not have been prepared to deal with kind of the issues that I had, but that isn't perhaps to their like detriment as a personality. It's just a lack of training. For example, when I was in school, I was experiencing a lot of depressive episodes, a lot of anxiety, and I was in danger, and that was something that no one was prepared to deal with. No one, when I said to a teacher, I can't do this anymore, they said, well, just stick it out till the end of exams. And that night was a crisis for me. And
Really?
I look back on that, and it drives me more, because I think, imagine if that teacher had, like, what if like the government had said, all teachers must have some level of mental health training. Imagine like how different that situation could have been, and there is that level of, yes, there was patronising and some are just rude. Some are like, why are you missing lessons? You're wasting time. Why are you hanging around here? And, there have been a lot of negative experiences, but I think lingering on those is something that wouldn't be as useful to the campaign. I think turning those into something positive is like the main thing and kind of what drives us, definitely.
So what I like about this campaign that you guys are dealing with is because you have a level amount of volunteers, but they come from the like-minded sense that you come from, where they're young and they wanna help and support other young people. So like in that aspect, and I wasn't laughing. I was trying to say about how this teacher did not really have a clue. um, is that what do you think that in what could teachers' response be if someone like yourself was
I
addressing
think
an issue?
definitely seeking that advice, taking it upon themselves to realise that knowledge is power in these kinds of situations. There are resources out there, the Be Free campaign, we do provide a lot of them, making sure that people, are well informed. There's Samaritans, there's, NSPCC, they may not, like, for example, that last one, they may not focus entirely on mental health, but they do have those resources.
Yeah.
And those people in a duty of care need to have that onus put on them, I think. And I think although teachers have already spread quite thin, that's where we kind of look to the government to change that and put that training in place.
What I'm finding interesting is about what you're saying of how we can help teachers be more understanding. And I'm wondering, like, within the stuff that you do, because I know there's a lot of events, community impact that your organization works upon, which we're going to talk about. But I'm also just curious about as far as going into schools. Do you go into schools to work with teachers, or do you not?
So basically, we work more with the children. The teachers, we do work with them, but the majority of our focus is with the children, just because we found that at that age, they're more likely to take on that kind of knowledge that we're teaching. We're providing things that, for example, if you're running into a mental health difficulty as a child, you will go to your GP likely, and they will refer you to a service. And in that service, they will provide you with a certain sort of therapy. So, for example, CBT. Now, CBT is something that is kind of making your mind think in a certain way, guessing, what are your thoughts behind the situation? How is that affecting your behaviours, your emotions? And so what we've done is we've taken that therapy that otherwise they wouldn't have access to unless they ran into a difficulty and they had to go on a waiting list. We've brought it right to the forefront, bringing that way of thinking to them and making them like more equipped to deal with any difficulties down the line. So we're just kind of giving them the tools they need. And that's what we found has been really effective in making sure that they're well prepared for any kind of, because mental well-being isn't linear. I think a lot of people think that being mentally well means that you're happy all the time, and that's not the case at all. Your mental well-being goes up and down all day, and that is completely normal. And it's about how you deal with those lows and how you kind of get them to be part of that normal like well-being wave that we have. We teach the kids about this like graph that goes up and down throughout the day. and just like letting them know that that is completely normal.
Yeah, no, I think that's where it was saying about when you get to name things as well, because I'm often saying about how personally, like with my son, facing his Asperger's and everything, when he found out his diagnosis in an early age, he was given a name. And so he was no longer, confused by why do I do things or, what's wrong. By giving a name, he was able to name it, and it actually strengthened him, and stuff like that. And I mean, I do believe a lot in that. Let's talk about the community impact of Be Free campaign is like you're very much into creating the open events,
Yeah.
and this is one of the things that is a passion for yours. When you were talking about different things like disco night and and all this kind of stuff. So, tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I think I mean, more than anything, the beauty of the mental health like world and our mental health charity is the scope. You can turn anything into something that's positive for the mental health space. So for example, we found that getting involved in the arts has been something that's been massive for the charity. Getting involved in not just a fundraising sense, but a well-being sense. So in terms of fundraising, we do, gigs throughout the city. We have a lot of amazing venues that support us and our work. We're able to give a spotlight to smaller artists that might not get the chance to perform live, and then we've also got things like for example, I was telling you earlier about how a volunteer came in and they said, oh, I don't really have any outside interests other than like uni and going out and things like that. And I said, well, that's the thing. You don't have nothing. I took something that I enjoyed going out. I enjoy music. And I turned that into something that I call Motives for Mental Health. So DJ nights, disco, I've got one on Friday, just to plug that. So we found that, getting involved in the arts has been immense. And we turned away from the fundraising side and turned it more into just creating a positive, open space for people. So our Community Impact Initiative, headed up by our amazing Community Impact lead, Alex, they've created something that has meant that we'll take something like pottery painting or, just painting macrame, knitting, crochet, doing that at cost price and just creating a nice space for people to come and just be, to just prioritize their well-being just for 2 hours.
Where do they do that? Do you have like a venue or something?
Yeah, so we use like quite a lot of venues in the city. They support us really well, like the Royal Standard, chapters of us before it closed down. We found that, especially independent venues, they're really willing to kind of support others. And we found that, it's been a really positive thing to create that open space for people for no other motivation than for it to be a good thing, 2 hours of good mental well-being.
Well, I mean, I thought what was interesting is this, what you call it, karame, what you said was like rope knotting.
Yeah.
Rope knotting. Come join us.
It doesn't sound it. I think we referred to that event as a knit and natter, and at first
I've heard of that.
Yeah, at first I was thinking that's perhaps older audiences, perhaps
mature people like myself.
People.
Yeah. Have a knitter and a natter. I mean, whoa.
Nothing wrong with that.
Right. Nothing wrong with that. But basically, you were also saying about how you had a secret. No, you don't have a secret, but you didn't really want to say too much about it. But it was just something that you guys have been working towards. You're working towards a lot of things, but like when you were talking about your disco nights, like you have kind of like something coming up. You could say a little bit about it, because it's called Manifestation. You're hoping to put together a music festival.
Yes, so that'll be later on this year. We're hoping to bring together Liverpool artists and just do that again, make sure that everyone can attend, make it as cheap as possible. Obviously, hopefully create some funds for the Be Free campaign so we can continue our work, because
Always about that.
we've recently just been asked to run a counselling program for a school, so obviously we have to
Well,
fund
see,
that
I
for
asked
people.
you about that, and then you didn't say. Is that with kids then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's only in a couple of schools, though. It's not our main line of work particularly. So yeah, we're hoping to put that on. So definitely keep an eye on our social media to see where that's going.
All right. Again, she don't want to say too much about it.
Big things coming.
Well, yeah. Hey, I know. Manifestation, though. So, you guys are involved in books as well.
Yeah.
So you have a couple of books out.
Yeah, definitely.
And everything. So before you tell me about the children's book, because I'm going to ask more about that, you have like 2 particular mental health type of books.
Yeah, so we already have 2 publications out. So one is a mental health guide, talking about, existing issues, existing ways of looking after your well-being. So the NHS, they have 5 ways to well-being, whereas the Be Free campaign, we have 7, because we don't think the 5 cover it all.
Well, I think you're trying to be competitive, but that's all right.
Yeah, a little bit. But we kind of explore that, how we can incorporate those into our everyday life. So talking about that in the guide, and then we also have a journal that we did with the amazing influencer Faye Bate, and she is a medical student, and she worked with us on a kind of a mental health journal, so keeping a track of your well-being. The amazing thing is, we have these publications out, but these were written and edited by volunteers, people that, perhaps maybe didn't even have any experience with, writing and publications, but that was their passion, and they got involved with it, and they did it, obviously with the help of a lot of industry professionals as well.
Yeah.
But it was a collaborative effort, which we found was like a really amazing experience for a lot of our volunteers.
Well, see, this is what like I said, I'm finding fascinating about the amount of research and work that you guys are putting into things.
Yeah.
You're not just like a talking shop. You know what I mean? Like, you actually do the research. You attend the conferences, you work with the health sectors and stuff like that. And, I just think it's amazing. But what I wanted to hear more about was this children's book, because I like the title and everything like that. But go ahead, tell us what it is.
So we recently have been working and illustrating a children's book.
Illustration as well.
Yeah, so we've got some amazing designers on that as well, very kindly giving their time to creating this lovely book. So it's obviously not going into too much depth into mental health and mental illness, because
Why, obviously.
to give like a 5-year-old a book on depression. But it's definitely something that we found that we can relate back to mental health and mental well-being, and it's called The Night We Saved the Moon.
I like that. Who's we?
You'll have to find out.
Look at that. She's just trying to say, I didn't expect that question, so I don't know.
You'll have to buy it and find out. Plugging the book.
That's not how you plug. Yeah, it's called the pitch. But either way, the title got me. But no, I just think it's fascinating. It's like, especially with having illustrations as well, making all a big difference. Are these kids? Are they animals? Or
I think they're animals.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. She just
I can tell you really believe me on this.
It's all good. But main thing about it is, tell me how you, like, one of the goals that you you all have is that you said you want a culture shift.
Yeah.
Tell me what that means.
So as you can tell, like, of what we've spoken about so far, we do a lot. We take on a lot of projects, and we try to kind of change mental health from every angle, as much as we can, government level, schools, anyone in a duty of care, and also in the workplace. But what we're looking to do is, even though that culture shift, it might seem like a vague term, we do just want to change the view on mental health. We want to break down that stigma, and not just say that we want to break down the stigma, we actually want to do it. And we want to, one word that we have come across that, sounds a bit dodgy, but we believe it's the best way, is infiltrate. We infiltrate, the different levels of training, different levels of, like, people in charge, finding those ways to change the culture within places. So, for example, even in the workplace, we're looking to change that culture in there, and hopefully that will create like a new sense of openness. And obviously, we're a small charity; we can't cure mental illness tomorrow, but what we can do is hopefully open up the conversation.
Well, I think you actually do it because you're coming from the younger perspective, where, you're bringing a new identity to it. Not like some old guy coming in and telling you about mental health or anything like that, which is why I hope that you guys do continue to do more appearances, because I think that if young people actually saw you coming into the classroom, their ears will pick up a little bit more because, maybe she can relate to
Yeah.
what's going on. I mean, you probably faced that already, haven't you? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even though I'm only 21, I will go into a classroom full of year
Well,
11s.
don't say it like that.
They
This is
look at
the
me like
whole
I'm a
point.
dinosaur.
The kids do?
Yeah, they do.
Get out of here.
No, I'm being serious.
Miss, what you doing? What you talking about?
One of them asked me if I knew what TikTok was the last time I was in a school.
Oh my God. No, the kids can be so real. What'd you say?
I said, oh, what is this tactic? Proper
Oh, yeah.
like, old person joke, really thinking I was funny. It wasn't funny.
No. I knew she wouldn't know. And stuff like that. That's funny. So, we talked about, like, when we were talking about, like, goals and plans, I mean, like, we were also talking about the importance of call lines, like suicide prevention and
Yeah.
everything. And it's not something that, like, you guys are doing now, but it's something that you're thinking about in the future.
Yeah.
I mean, how important is that? Because it is still about having a one-to-one conversation with someone for support, isn't it?
Yeah. So what we found is, as a new charity, we found that creating that kind of program of ensuring mental well-being more than anything before rather than, we're not like a suicide prevention charity. However, down the line, that is something we can certainly look at. But obviously it takes a lot of time and resources. But what we do is we just work with other charities to make sure that, we're signposting to the right places, making sure people get like the help that they need. We're the biggest advocate for reaching out for help and working with other people. Because what we found really is, even though in the world of charity there is like a level and like a culture of competitiveness, but we have found there is a culture of openness. We found that there is a way to kind of, we all want to work towards the same thing for a better society, a better culture around mental health, and we do work with other charities to make sure that people are getting the help that they need.
Yeah. We finally found that quote that you said. And everything, that level of competitiveness with a culture of openness and everything, and yeah, see, that was nice when it just naturally came out instead of us looking for it. With all the different events that you have been putting on and everything else like that, now you have like your first big event, what you call like your Community Impact Awards.
Yeah.
We can actually talk about this because it has a date set to it and the venue. So tell us about that.
So we found that there were a lot of people in the community, especially in the business community, that were doing a lot of good, that were kind of going uncelebrated a little bit. There's a lot of award ceremonies in the city and they're doing amazing things, highlighting important people. But what we wanted to do was focus on those that had actually had a really good impact around the Liverpool area. So what we've done is we created this awards because, again, we're so busy as a charity. We want to do everything and we want to celebrate those people, and we decided that the best way to do that was an award ceremony. And just to be absolutely clear, we do not nominate ourselves. This is not an award ceremony for the Be Free campaign. We're just hosting it.
Yeah.
So the nominations have actually just closed yesterday. But what we do encourage is people to just have a look at what we're doing with those award ceremonies and look at the kind of the networking side of things. Because we have found that we've had a really good uptake on people who want to attend. It's going to be quite like an upmarket event, and we're really
black tie
excited for
affair.
it. Black tie affair.
If you want to be Bond, James Bond.
in the Isle of Gladstone Conservatory.
First of all,
in
I've been to
Anfield.
the Isle of Gladstone Conservatory.
It's gorgeous.
And it is gorgeous.
So no, we're really excited about that. And I think it's just, again, a good way to just do something positive, to just celebrate good people in the community, and especially those in business as well.
And this will be on the 10th of March. She didn't name that. Good thing I'm here. And stuff, and unfortunately, why did she come today and not like 2 days ago where, then, maybe we could have slipped in, hey, we could have been nominated.
Well, we are still selling tickets to go to the event, and I'm sure if you speak to me really nicely, we could get a nomination in there.
Have I not spoken to you now? What? Say that again? That slipped by me, Phil. Oh, it did, though. I mean, you shouldn't have said it on the air, right? Somehow we have to cut that out. So that way when we are nominated,
Editing.
Yeah, that's true. Thanks, Phil. I didn't know anything about it. But I did like the fact that, though, because you know how often I say on this show that we never get invited to things, or I never get invited to things. But then, it's like, I heard something about there might be a free seat, but, for cool people. Then I'm like, no one's cooler than me, right, Phil?
Yes, Chase.
Yeah. Right, Rachel?
Yes. Very.
I don't have any black ties, but,
I'll lend you one.
Ooh, a dicky bow for Chase. But no, I just think it basically, I really love the work that you guys are doing. I love the fact that I hate harping on the age, but I think it's just one of those important things that young people don't need to wait for older people to do something. No. You're talking about an agency or a charity that has endeavored to support people within a situation that they don't get too much support as they could or should, and everything. So that's the main thing. I think Chantilly has done a great thing to be inspired by his own personal feelings and effect, and to find someone like yourself who also was personally affected through your situation of dealing with mental health and turning that into a positive, would you say?
Definitely. I mean, one thing that we have found in every volunteer that comes in for perhaps an interview to try and find out a bit more about us, I think everyone is struck by how passionate we are. We are just so driven to create something good. We are so driven by our experiences, the friends we've lost along the way, by the experiences we've had. We're just so passionate to make that change, to do it ourselves. And we're on such a good trajectory where we are making that difference, and we only continue to grow. And it's just the most amazing thing in the world,
Yeah.
I've been...
Yeah, because you were saying that you personally lost someone yourself.
Yeah.
And everything like that, and I know that must be hard.
But it's about turning that into something good, something positive, and and I think we are well on our way to doing that, and hopefully, especially pushing government on that as well. Making sure that those in the duty of care do have that correct training, and that's what we're pushing towards.
Yeah, I mean, I just hope that when people see the signage of Be Free campaign, that they understand that that's what you are all about. Tell us about your socials.
Our socials. So we're on quite a few platforms. We're on.
I would hope so.
We're on Facebook, Instagram. Our Instagram is Campaign Be Free. We're on TikTok as Campaign Be Free, though we haven't updated that in a while. I won't say anything.
What TikTok?
We are on TikTok.
Wait, why haven't you updated that?
Because I don't know how to use it.
Fair enough.
Neither do I. But I'm old, so that's understandable.
But yeah, we also have our website. It's just the BeFreeCampaign.org, and we have all our information, all our resources. Or if you're someone who is looking to get support for your school, looking for that support for the children, find us, contact us. I can't express enough how much good our courses can do for people.
Well, I mean, I think your courses sound amazing. It's well researched, and and it has the attention is definitely good because you was telling me that one of the main things is that you provide coping strategies
Yeah.
and stuff, and and again, I would just be amazed about like you going into school and then after your talks, like the approaches that you must be receiving,
Yeah.
like, Miss, can I talk to you, Miss? Yeah, you know what I mean? Even though they think you're an oldie and stuff, an oldie but a goodie.
Yeah.
So, yeah, basically, community impact things involve music and art for mental health. There's so many different things. Like if you go on their website, you'll see their upcoming events and everything. And obviously, you'll probably see Rachel at the disco night wearing her disco clothes. Like she looking kind of funky today and everything like
Thank
that.
you.
You know what I mean? Do you DJ or something?
I wish I did. I wish I did.
Oh no, you
But
just put DJ nights on, then you just
but
play
the
the music.
community is so nice. Like everyone in the arts, everyone in music is so nice, and that's why I enjoy it so much. It's why I put it on, and talking to other people who are passionate about what they do is just it's just everything to me. And the fact that we can combine that with mental health. Though I do also do some serious things as well. I do, for example, that we do courses for people in employment as well. So I led the team.
Employability courses, you mean?
So people in employment, teaching them how to handle their mental health while they're in work. So
All
places
right.
like hospitality, business, and that's something that we formulated with lots of clinicians, and with an amazing team of volunteers. So again, I do really encourage anyone who is looking for that support at work to look into that and help them, because at the end of the day, like most people are in work, and one really great way to reach people is through that course. And we found that kind of tackling manager support models and employee welfare as a whole and in their policies is something that, again, so yeah, we've got a nice mix of like very like serious like mental health stuff, and then also we get involved with the arts, which is just as serious but a lot more fun.
You say it like it's bad. I think that's really good, because in that aspect is that, it's a concept that people need to work through and go through, especially like the whole workplace environment and, coping through that and everything else like that. So it's good that that's a part of your focus and ethos that people can like learn and learn how to deal with. This has just been great. Even though as a charity you're funded by the National Lottery, but as usual you can always use more money and stuff like that. Just letting people know that your organization is out there and it's definitely something worthwhile supporting. As you said, Friday, who knows when this comes out. But I'm pretty sure this is not the only Friday that we can enjoy this. Where do you do the disco night at?
I do them at loads of venues. Again, the more independent venues involved, the better. So this one is at Metrocola.
Metrocola? I never heard of that.
It's by the
I
Bombed
thought
Out
I'm
Church.
old. What?
It's by the Bombed Out Church. But
Oh,
no,
wait a minute. Hold on for a second.
so we have some really great partnerships with other independent venues such as Jimmy's,
Yeah,
the Out of
Jimmy's.
Phase Group, Metrocola. We've done one at Meraki.
It's not one of those like places that keep changing its name. Is it by the Red Door or something?
Yeah, around the corner from it.
Yeah. Okay. And stuff. And but so even though like this is Disco Night Friday, it's not every Friday.
No, not every Friday, but definitely, I mean, for any of our events, our community impact ones, the most mental health ones, the gigs, just keep an eye on our social medias. That's what
Yeah.
I would just suggest.
Yeah. That's always a good thing to do. I wanted a little bit of a disco and a bit about supporting mental health.
I'll catch
Yeah.
you tearing up the floor on Friday.
First of all, I don't dance, so you won't. Nobody wants to see my electric Elvis. It's funny, but either way, that this has been a really nice conversation, Rachel. I mean, I'm hoping that you enjoyed it and everything, and basically, in the intention that it was served, it's a way of getting people to not only just know you, but to know the organization, what this is all about. And so, remember, Be Free campaign on most of the socials and everything. I'm pretty sure you're easily defined. And March March 10th, which is only next month. It's a Gladstone. Tickets are still available. Where were they available at?
You can find them through our website.
All right, that's the easy way of saying it. But just said it's on schedule. You know what I mean? Eventbrite, whatever. I don't know. But yeah, so the Community Impact Awards. Definitely something for people in the community and stuff. So, Rachel, I'd like to thank you for joining me here in the Big Condo Studios. This has been Rachael Fell for the Be Free campaign. I'm your host, Chase Johnston-Lynch from the Liverpool Community Podcast. And you know what? For now, we out of here.